Cool. Y'all can hear me? Everyone has that story about Las Vegas. I have about 5 trips that I've gone on with my mother to Vegas. It might be said that how much fun could you have with your mother in the city of sin? The answer is you can get into a lot of trouble with her. Every day on my Vegas trip with a potential story to be told later. They say what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, but I don't think that person who said this was a writer. Our best stories are the ones we should never tell. But what's so fun in that? You have so much fodder for writing when it comes to Vegas. Couple that with the fact that I'm with my mother for my Vegas trips, and we tend to get into all sorts of crazy stuff when we travel together, and you have an array of stories. One such story was when I experienced my first spinning room. We went to a burlesque show. I remember poles on the stage. Our main motive was to go to as many burlesque and circus shows as possible. We weren't exactly gamblers, but we did figure out the secret to free drinks. Penny slot machines at certain casinos, mainly Bellagio, Cosmopolitan, Paris, were our favorite locations for martinis. Paris also has a mean chocolate martini. So if you sit and play a penny and waste that dollar you put in, you can get quite a few. We would tip really well for the free drinks, and so the rotation of getting them would be pretty consistent. This night was like any other. We stayed up past 1 a.m. We moved to another club after our burlesque show and ended up at a place where there was a competition with bartenders to make drinks. They would auction off the drink, and I got one that was a Red Bull mixed with some vodka and other liquors. We made friends with the bartenders, as we always do. That auctioned off drink took me out, though. The walk back to our hotel room was a sort of technicolor blur. I knew that I had hit a limit that I usually never meet. I crawled into bed, laid down, and the world was not as steady as it should be. The fucking room was spinning around me. I remember panic crawling up my throat like a scream I wasn't going to let loose because my mother would never let me live it down. I felt like I was falling off the bed without falling off of it. This was a predicament I was not prepared for. I looked at my mother, who seemed fine enough. Hey, the room is spinning. You know that? Put off your bed. Put your foot off the bed. It'll steady. I wondered to myself, will my leg off the side of the bed fix the gravity in my head? Is that possible? I decided to take them up on their offer, shifted my weight slightly without falling off the bed, and let my one leg slide down while the other stayed on the mattress. The spinning stopped, and I released breath I'd been holding. I told my mother, the trick worked. She responded, of course it did, as if that was the most straightforward answer to what you do when you're lying down. I fell asleep with my clothes on, later crawled to the toilet to remove the drink that I had bought from the auction out of my system. I started talking to myself that I should have stopped after we tanked up on penny slot drinks. The next night, I didn't learn my lesson. My mother and I went drinking around Vegas, and as we walked down Caesar's Palace together, she admitted to me that she wanted to get matching tattoos together. Whether that happened or not is another Vegas story for another story.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Viva Las Vegas. Go ahead and treat yourself to a drink at the bar. We want to make sure we get invited back next year. Next month. July 16th, to be specific. Our next story, Have You Ever Seen a Ghost? Written by Michael McFadden and read by Eric Vogel.